503. We're live. Welcome back to the Memoirquest. Always happy to be here. I'm Rex, and this is Henry Arthur Gibbs. Always surprised.
Part of the furniture now.
Yeah, and of course, in the background, Jacobus Temkevich. Thank you, Jacobus.
Hello, wherever you are.
And as our special guest today, one of my great friends, Thomas Ertman.
Hello.
Welcome to see you. Welcome to see you.
Welcome to see
Would
you.
you mind putting the microphone hand between your face?
Yes.
It seems that you have moved it.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
For the teething.
Okay. I'm just going to hold it like this the whole time.
Oh, that's too close.
That's
fine.
much too
But
close.
people love that oaky timbre you've got going in the voice. Get it nice and low.
There we go.
So,
Settle in.
yeah.
So here we are.
What's this all about?
Well, it's about everything and nothing, you know.
Mm.
I'm going to take a little slosh of this here tea. Maybe this is a good time to mention right in the beginning of the show our sponsor.
Oh, first up, yeah.
Snacks on Snacks Tea.
Snacks on Snacks tea.
A really good tea blend that we just it's nice and hot.
From our favourite producers of snacks.
Snacks on Snacks, Snack Attack.
Yes.
And you have done very well. We eat it. You're drinking that type of tea right now.
We eat tea
Yes.
all the good long day.
Also, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, Richie.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Even though
the ghost.
I think that maybe the people listening, they cannot.
They cannot sense him if
They
he's
do
just
not sense
silent.
him, yeah.
I don't believe that.
They can perceive him. They can perceive him.
They can hear his heartbeat.
But the people watching, they might see a knee or a sort of aura coming from the side of the room.
Oh, yeah.
I
Anyway.
can feel it.
Our friend Richmondsauce, thank you for joining us in the background. So, how's it going, Thomas? What are you up to these days?
Oh, well, not much, as you say.
Yeah.
But this is literally the truth.
Yeah.
I live with my dad, who has Alzheimer's, and spend most of my time shopping, cooking, and doing the garden with him. And yeah.
I mean, I
for
know
half a
about
year.
the situation that you've been. Is it 6 months now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty real situation.
Yeah, it
you
is.
told me a couple of stories of him wandering off and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing better in many ways. Not doing a lot of crazy stuff. He's accepted that he doesn't have a car anymore, and that was usually the problem. And he can't drive. So he's got this little electric scooter now, which is perfect.
Do you get to borrow it?
Yes, I do. I use it way more than him. But no, but yeah, and you can ride two in it. So it's great for trips and stuff, because I don't actually have a driver's license.
But you can drive that thing legally?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But
great.
it's 2 seats in it, and it seems like you explain. Is it an inside cabin thing?
It's basically like a scooter with a cabin on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Like over
Yeah.
it?
yeah, it looks like a little spaceship.
BMW
like something
one?
out of Dune. What?
Is it like the BMW one?
It's a Chinese one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
But
BMW invented it or something.
it's
like
great.
that.
I never really had any sort of vehicle like that except for bicycles. So it's good training for me to take my driver's license eventually. But we'll probably have self-driving cars by then.
Yeah, maybe a
I'm
drone
not
that
sure.
just picks you up in your special drone jacket or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or your cyborg wings that you just use to fly to
Oh,
places.
that's the dream. That's the dream, man. That's that's my dream for the cyborg world. That's the tattoos, on the back that I've got.
Yeah,
the
you're
2
just
circles.
preparing the surgeons nice and early for when they
Yeah.
have to make the incision.
Yeah, it's all about those cyborg wings, man.
Yeah, it's been interesting when everybody's wings have been cut lately. Nobody can go anywhere. We're talking about today, what the hell happens to all the planes? There's usually like 150,000 planes in the air all at once. Where do they go?
Is that a real number?
No, it's just something.
So it seems like maybe a lot. 150. But where are they?
I just
They're
heard
all
it.
at home with their families, their plane families,
Yeah.
relaxing,
In the
having
hangar.
some hot jet fuel.
Yeah.
drinking
Yeah,
hot
they're
jet fuel. That's all they drink. A bit of oil
hanging out in the hangar. Hanging.
That's where you hang out.
Certainly is.
at the hangar. Yeah, there's yeah.
Mhm.
That's good. I think it's. I wonder, hasn't there already come some numbers out about the amount of CO2 that has fallen drastically, and that
Yes,
little ecosystems are suddenly
I mean,
already
you can see
arising?
like visuals over big towns and stuff where you can just see that there's absolutely no pollution compared to normal. In China, for instance, has been like it's remarkable how clean everything suddenly is,
Yeah.
and the same in Denmark, I suppose.
Check this out, guys. This is global 1 week of air traffic, how it was affected by Corona. The graph.
Are you just gonna find it there? Yeah, that looks cool. Air traffic, the bane of our existence, the best and smartest thing ever. It's eating us from inside.
Okay, so here we go. 1 week of air traffic.
This is this year. This is last year. It cut in 50% of the flights in the whole world.
Wow, yeah, like South America just disappears. Pretty much.
A lot of
How many? What are the actual numbers of a normal sort of like any time
well,
at the
you can
time?
see here,
About 5,000. Oh, that's last week.
but this is last year. This last week.
So 10,000?
So about 10,000 at sort of any given time, or what does that represent? That graph?
I guess it jumps how it goes through the year, and then it just shows the averages, and it shows that the flights over the week is
Number of planes reporting on altitude of more than 50 feet.
20,000 planes in the air.
yeah. And this is in each day of the week. Each peak of the graph is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, blah blah blah. So you can see how it affected of that week.
Mm-hmm.
It's 48%
Oh,
less.
that's a week. Of course, I understand now. So it seems like about 10,000 a day.
It's
In normal.
half less,
Half less.
right?
Yeah.
So
50%.
yeah,
It's
that's
not a lot.
I, for some reason, I was under the impression
Yeah, you
that
can
it was more.
Yeah, that it was like it's
That
all,
like
nothing.
99% of the flights, or maybe
Yeah.
it's just that you read like one air company has 99% of their flights cancelled or something like
But
that.
look at the United States.
Thomas.
They also were really hit badly. Look, they didn't stop any movement in their country.
No.
It just goes slightly bit less, right?
Yeah, the big flights, New York, LA, seem to be. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a lot more as well. It's probably gonna be fine. I do. Are you down with that? The lizard overlords have now finally enacted their inevitable plan of setting Bill Gates and Elon Musk to make us into complicit robots by nanotechnology through a vaccine.
If you mean Queen Elizabeth, yes.
Okay,
That's-
Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, in the name, guys.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah.
I mean, it's a good spin-off. She could be involved in this.
Oh, she is.
Oh, of course she is.
I mean, if you
Gosh.
listen to David Icke, he has seen her, I think, turn into a lizard, take her real form,
Right.
I believe. Yeah.
Well,
Davey.
no. I do hear a lot of people talking about crazy theories about coronavirus and so on, but
Maybe
I mostly find it. I look at it as entertainment, as good stories and so on, and I like it because it's good stories. But I mean, if most of that stuff was supposed to be true, then a lot of things would have happened that haven't happened. And it's a new, like, what was it, 2 months ago? The 5G towers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now it's something else. Now
Well,
it's
the 5G is a part of it, though.
that
yeah.
it was some sort of secret plan to do this, either from the Chinese or the Americans or whatever. I'm not like up on it, but there's always a new one, and but
Yeah.
I am drawn to it. I love it. It's great, like entertainment. Because what if it was true? And then, yeah.
I heard
But-
recently there's like a new like I'm not sure if it's a new conspiracy theory, but it's that the virus is of course man-made, but one of the scientists says that it has an AIDS string in it, like the same as 8. And it's apparently it's impossible to have it.
Random
it must
scientist.
It must have been. That's what it was interesting that I didn't dig into that much. But they claim that that's why it's a man-made thing, because it contains 50% of AIDS and it wouldn't be occurring in nature.
Man-made.
Man-made.
Made by man's hand.
Yeah, it's like there's some people say that it's man-made, and then they also say it's a hoax. There seems like there's a lot of just like easy skips from one thing to the next when you get into that kind of thinking.
People weren't hit hard enough.
Exactly. Yeah.
The dots just connect because you want them to. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of theories all joining up at the same time at the moment.
I guess you also just have a much more simple situation that is something you have to tend to. Get the shopping done, make the food, do the gardening.
Oh,
work.
no, but I still have time to indulge in conspiracy theories on the internet.
Good. Oh, yeah.
Of course. But, I mean...
Who
but
doesn't have time for
yeah. It's all over also. But it's, it's not something I worry about. Definitely not. I'm more worried about the virus. And it's a naturally occurring thing, I think. And sometimes it mutates. Rarely it does that. And then it jumps to humans. And then it's really dangerous or somewhat dangerous. Or it depends on...
Yeah, it seems like a cycle.
Yeah.
The old human cycle.
Is nature doing its thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of dark and there's a lot of light going on at the same time, I feel. A lot of like polarized. So in your place, what have you got? Have you got a garden that you've been working in?
Yeah.
You've been growing things?
Yeah. Herbs and spices
Mm.
and stuff.
Nice.
And just really giving it a big makeover because it hasn't been tended to for years. So, but yeah, it's nice.
Therapeutic, isn't it?
It is. And yeah, and just being there in the sun with the twittering of the birds, and it's very nice, and it's very sort of therapeutic in a way.
I find it very therapeutic.
Yeah, and also just having a simple structure
And you get invested in the lives of all the plants, I find. Like, you get really connected with the plants, you start building these connections and you're really rooting for them, obviously. Yeah. And you, it's a great exchange just to be in that feeling of connecting with nature.
It's true.
Yeah, you've done a lot of gardening, Henry.
Oh, a lot.
How did you start off with that?
How did I start it? I think it was just one of those instances where I never wanted to get a real job, and I saw that you could become a gardener, and just do the things and work. And I'm like, I'm kind of like a hippie guy, right? I'm down with the nature, I dig it, and yeah,
literally.
I dig it literally, yeah. And and then I just saw that you could just work and get money and do that. And it seemed like a sensible thing for me. So I think I just got a job randomly as an assistant to somebody working as a gardener. Like, nice fresh meat, like kind of just walked in the door. And I got a little bit schooled. There was this one lady, she was pretty cool, Sarah. She schooled me up. She schooled me right. She was a tough cookie. Sarah, she pushed, she got me to realize how to like properly work really for that kind of thing. And then I just did it by myself. For years, since I was like 16, I think. And that's just been the kind of steady money earning thing that I've done all my life.
Like around the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, around the neighborhood, friends of friends, word of mouth. Hey, I've got a gardener for you, But I used to love it. Yeah, I used to love it. But now I prefer to do it in a non kind of money job way. But it's a good way to earn money. You do get good money for it.
Yeah. You get a lot of fresh air.
Yeah, and you move your body. I like doing the jobs where you don't have to think too much.
There's also something weirdly satisfying about getting your hands dirty in the ground,
literally,
like
yeah.
And feeling that stuff. Yeah.
No, just on your word, didn't want to interrupt you. The putting hands in the soil. A few days ago, I talked with a girl who does yoga, like Visapana or something, like connecting and stuff. And she told quite interesting thing, even though I'm not that much.
Vipassana.
Huh?
That's
The
meditation.
meditation
Yeah,
thing.
meditation and yoga connected with a lot of like things she
Uh-huh.
mentioned. And anyway, she told a good interesting thing about taking your shoes and socks and walking like every day a little bit barefoot, because it discharges you. You get grounded, because we always with shoes and socks and
With
whatever.
souls and shit.
And it,
Yeah, you gotta do it, man.
even though it does make sense a little bit for me that it could be some sort of
Yeah, you're an electro engineer, right?
yeah, so it could have some sort of
And-
effect of you being grounded. You continuously rubbing, with clothing on you and stuff, and if you separate it, you do actually ground yourself. So,
yeah,
but I
but
just
yeah, it seems logical,
interesting
huh?
effect of what does effect it has on your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
does,
what
it-
kind of
it's-
soil
It's good for your moods and
could also, sorry,
Hmm.
good for you. Yeah, so what's going on underneath there? If if you're standing on granite, right, which is a
Yeah.
highly conductive stone that has radiation in it on its own, what kind of exchange happens in the subtle energies of the body?
Of course.
Yeah.
And there is obviously a kinetic energy inside us. I don't know exactly how much. Is there like actually a thing where when the body just have we got a subtle, what's our normal frequency?
Mm.
Does that exist?
Yeah.
Do we admit a frequency?
We probably have a hertz.
Touchscreen
Yeah.
works.
Okay.
We sink in.
How does that? So how does the touchscreen work?
Got something current going. That's how it works.
Current. It just
Current
goes.
going.
There is that thing is also
Yeah.
electric.
Yeah, there's a frequency.
Current
There are
connection.
kind of like there are different frequencies for different parts of the body. I imagine, but like there is like they give like the heart frequencies, don't they? And then they give there's different ones.
But there's definitely
Hmm.
like I can feel, and I suppose most people can feel, if a thunderstorm is approaching, the atmosphere changes,
Mm.
and there is this electrical charge that changes,
Mm-hmm.
and some people feel really queasy and weird,
Mm.
and that's actually because the water in your body is changing as well.
Also because
And-
of moon.
That too, that affects it too, yeah.
affects things. As an acupuncturist, like it's all the same as well. It's all just electricity that you're kind of working with, energy that you're working with, and it's no surprise that those things have an effect on our moods and our bodies, because they are affecting us on a frequency level. These things do affect our bodies and how we feel. But yeah, I mean, with gardening in different sort of landscapes and different soils and different plants. I mean, plants themselves are just like so powerful. They've got so much energy in them when you work with them. It's you feel it. Definitely, it's very, very, very kind of tangible thing.
For sure. And also it's just a pleasure to put a seed in the ground, and then for some magical reason it grows into this crazy
whole
structure.
religions are built on
It's
that
amazing.
thing.
I
It's
know,
amazing.
but
It blows
it's-
your mind. It's just so, and yeah, I mean, I just got so invested in their lives, just massively.
Yeah.
Little seedlings.
Truly vulnerable things
Yeah.
that just need
Good tending.
good tending to, and they grow into unbelievable things.
Yeah. Truly beautiful.
Talking about subtle energies and things like
Mm.
that's something that I really think that it's incredibly interesting. I think this thing that you just said there with the feet and things, and the sort of like the slight discharge possibility.
Oh yeah, and also a few years ago I found out when people say you feel the full moon effect, and I was always very skeptic about full moon effect. Like, why? Why do people think about like full moon effect? Is it real? Is it because a lot of people don't believe in it, right?
Sure.
And the only like scientific approach explanation I found to this, it was that moon and sun has both gravity fields, right? They pull us up from the earth slightly, but the moment when we have a full moon and we have an eclipse, they are aligning in the same line. Moon and sun are in the same line towards the earth. So which means that the gravity that we feel, it's amplified.
Really? Because wouldn't the ones, like if it was the sun in front of the moon,
There's still a line, just the
Would-
other way around, I guess.
Wouldn't the moon just hit try and attract the sun only, and then the gravity sort
Well,
of
moon
stop
is also attracted by the sun, and Earth is attracted by the sun. So
Sure.
we're both attracted, and it's if in
Sure,
one
I get it,
line.
yeah.
This pluses together,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess maybe if we have a full-on eclipse, it has some sort of retraction back, you know, because it's on the other side fully.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as strong as you would have in one equal line. But anyway, very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's strange the thing with the moon, because basically the moon is always full. It's always the same above us, and it's only just the thing that we can see of it because light is shining upon it, and then the light is shining back onto us, and
Well,
that
it's in the same distance as well, I suppose. It's not closer when it's full.
No, it's
no,
usually
but
in the
there
same-
are points, the pink moon phenomena, a natural phenomena, which is the moon is slightly closer, because the Earth is not a globe; it's like slightly stretched, you know, and it's doing the whole flappity thing, and the way the moon goes is also not a perfect circle. It kind of also is an ellipse or whatever you call it. So every now and again we just kind of pass by each other in a endless. Just a quick touch.
Yeah, I guess if the moon is on the side, so when the moon is above you, you should be lighter, because it pulls you up, directly up.
Totally.
Well, it
And
pulls
from
everything
the other
up.
side of the Earth, you are heavy.
But then why?
But it pulls everything up, the ground as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, the tide is not just the water; it's also the ground is lifted like half a meter or a meter, but we don't feel it. I don't know, but that's what I heard
Yeah.
from the internet.
Well, interesting with the whole
that?
gravity thing.
Yeah, the effect it has on us is that with the full moon as well, to have that much daylight in the nighttime, it's like the meeting of worlds. I think it's kind of goes back quite deep into our like primal energy of like when we used to be indoors or outdoors more closely with nature, you know, and the moonlight would be a big factor in your just like the way you live and everything.
Yeah.
So like there's definitely something deep in it for us. I feel like the full moon is kind of like the time where you could be outside all night and kind of party, basically, like most old pagan
Well, it is
religions are
very
about.
but being in dark places, you know, like I feel like I'm thinking about the desert, hanging out in the desert,
Have
and
you
then
been in the forest
and then having the full moon. No,
Yeah,
I think
the
I have not.
where you
In
can
a
see-
dark forest.
where you can see leaves on the ground of the
Oh yeah, and it's grey and
it's incredible.
hmm
you know, Jacobus and I have an experience that I kind of is. We saw a rare thing. We saw in Ethiopia, in the ancient town of Harar, we saw a moon bow. So we were at the hyena. We were hanging out with hyenas. There's this edge of the town where some guys that give some meat out, and some fucking hyenas come in, and it's pretty epic. And then we turned around, and there was a grayscale. It's like I've actually been looking for it before, and it's not exactly easy to find.
What do you mean a moon bow?
Okay, so it's raining. It's a full moon. The only light that there is, and this is a fucking town where the electricity is off, and it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. And then arises, you can see a bow, but it is in grayscale.
A rainbow.
A rainbow, only made by the moonlight,
Ah.
but not really just suggestion of the normal rainbow thing, but in a kind of a grayscale.
With the
Dim
suggestion
colours.
of color.
Suggestion of color, yeah.
I can't find the picture of it because I have a picture of it.
Yeah, and I found something on the
You
internet.
should get that
finally.
on your.
But it's just such a hard picture to take because it's night times,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the only light that's there, it's nearly like you kind of blink and it's gone, and then you see it because the clouds move, and the moon suddenly shines really bright on it, and then it shows itself.
Elephant in the room here.
Yeah.
I've seen around the moon a rainbow, which is called corona.
Really?
A lunar halo.
Yeah,
Corona
ring,
sure,
isn't
that's
it?
the
I've
thing.
seen that.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
cool, man. I've seen
yeah.
that before.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's cool. Yeah, I like
Very,
that.
You
very
also can
amazing.
see this from the plane. If you fly quite high and you have a very thin layer of clouds underneath you, and if you look down, you see the circular rainbow then below because it goes through the vapor.
I'm sure I've seen that.
Beautiful.
But the story what you told about Harar, I remember actually really like
Yeah,
detailed.
it was me and you.
Yeah, because it's really stuck in my head, the rainbow, because you can actually see the colors. When I remember the colors of the rainbow, and it was pretty stable. But what's special it was, remember that the rain, what just had this very small drizzle rain, it rained before 7 months ago. It was the first rain 7 months ago.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was
full
another
moon,
thing.
and we got a night rainbow with full moon looking at hyenas. That was such something
Yeah, and then the first
incredible.
rain. Yeah, oh man, we fucking shredded it up down in Ethiopia. We shredded it up, man. We made some music videos that only like 436 people have seen, with just hyenas running around me, driving around in an amazing landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People should check it out.
I can,
Yeah, they will eventually.
Yeah, they should.
After
should do
I've
that.
given them my right ear.
What's that? Deal.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
Rainbows.
We're
God,
talking
yeah.
about the moon.
weird effects, small effects on human body from surrounding, kind of.
Yes, sir.
Subtle energies, baby.
Oh, do you know
It's
that?
microampere that we generate apparently. Mainly our bodies is good for resistance of electricity. We don't produce a lot.
A microampere.
I went on my phone behind your back.
Yeah, great. Keep
Good.
doing that. Keep doing that. Fact checking it.
So, I heard something like
Yeah.
this ancient wisdom that you can only plant seeds either before or after the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really got around to checking it out.
Yeah.
I just planted them.
Yeah.
But do you know anything
I
about that?
mean, I think that's the moon cycle is meant to that ancient farming methods were always done on moon cycles, because obviously moon cycles are like that's our calendar system, but yeah, I think that's just a thing that was a good way of measuring it before, and now we have different ways of measuring things, and we can be a bit more precise in different things, have different like days that they're gonna. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool to follow.
I talk to people who
Yeah.
swear that it has an effect.
I
on
think
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
it does had an effect
Yeah,
as
I'm
well.
sure it definitely.
Yeah,
I'm
because
sure
of
it
I mean,
does.
water and light, yeah. But it doesn't, no, the moon, it doesn't matter. The moon doesn't care about when there's light is on it. It always follows the same cycle and pulling the water, right?
Mm.
The plants care about the light, though.
So the plants care
But
about
the moon
probably
cycle is
moonlight
like how
and
far along the like even like the year is, or like it's like I think that in the bigger calendar system of the moon, you'd be measuring it by like where it is in the year as well, right? How much light there is in the sky, how much moonlight there is,
I don't know.
things and stuff.
It looks nice in the night when it has this stripe on the water. The moonlight. I like that when it reflects from the water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good old image there. You, me, and probably a whole bunch of other people like that. Like,
Yeah,
Mm.
that looks nice. It's a big just light
what
show.
about my
in nature.
electric lights here? Do you like them?
No,
What? They're
I don't.
electric?
I think
Not
they're
like-
very weird. Yeah,
They were
Like
kind of a
alien
funny shape, these ones.
Yeah, like alien eggs.
it's not
Yeah,
that I
they're-
don't like them, but yeah, they have a very
They're not
alien
the
vibe to
traditional
them.
candle look. And
I don't know. I like the electric light thing. It's good.
Electric light in general.
Yeah, these ones. Yeah.
Well,
It's what the whole situation with not being in a situation where the candles actually generate. Somebody told me, diesel engine styles waste into the room.
Fossil fuels.
Yeah. Oh, is candle a fossil fuel actually? What is wax?
No.
Is it just dead things?
Oh no.
That's a fossil fuel.
wax.
Yeah, what's
Wax
it
is
made
made
of?
out of a spit of a right. It gets from mouth.
The spit of dead
Oh,
bees.
for bees.
The
No,
spit
no,
of
no.
the spit of the beetle.
No, it
the
mixes
wax
something with
beetle.
saliva and something. and
This
it
is
makes
made
it-
of wax. It's not plastic.
But you can also have a synthetic wax and real one.
And
and
that's
the-
made of plastic?
Not sure what is actually made of. Some sort of oily material.
Could we figure it out, please?
Some sort of plastic.
Huh?
Some kind of plastic.
Yeah, so if it's plastic, it's a fossil fuel.
Which is bloody plastic.
Yeah.
Because plastic is made of dead things.
Yeah.
Do you remember Nader Sadek?
Yes.
Of course you do.
Hmm.
Legend among men.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just reminded once again all the time about his amazing art piece that I've never seen but only heard from his mouth a couple of times, where he said it was about petroleum. And he was like, so he's a heavy metal guy, right? He's a heavy metal artist as well. He makes music and he also does all kinds of things. Everybody should check him out. Art exhibitions, first and foremost. The art piece about that, he's saying petroleum is the not personification but the physical manifestation of death on Earth. It's black, it smells bad, if you touch it, it sticks to you and you die. Everything it touches dies. Kills whole ecosystems, all bacteria, everything. It is the physical manifestation of death.
It's very
And,
heavy metal. Yeah.
It's very heavy metal, the way a lens of looking at it, right? And then he says, and guess what human beings do?
Mm-hmm.
They praise it. They manifest it bigger. They change it into everything and manifest it into every part of their life through all of these products, through plastic and, diesel and benzene and everything. And that we are, like, at our core, worshippers of death in its manifestation, here on Earth.
Mm.
Instead of looking towards the sun,
Mm.
no, we're doing that now a bit more, managing to harvest the thing that actually makes it the whole world go round.
Like a death cult.
Death cult.
We are a giant death cult.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gone viral.
Man, deep. That's a real. I like that.
Yeah, you dig
That's
that?
that's got zing.
Yeah, right. It's got
Yeah.
zinger. He's got a
Mm.
lot of zingers in him.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sadek, man. I really dig him a lot. I helped him record some stuff. It was cool.
Tell us about what was that thing you did in the pyramid?
Yeah, we recorded in the pyramid. Oh yeah, Thomas also came along to one of those
Yeah.
sessions,
Oh, were you there?
and Emil
Amazing.
was at the other one.
I
yeah.
couldn't walk for 3 days after that. Because we had to walk down into the pyramid.
Where did we go? Yeah, the Red Pyramid.
And the stairs were really bad. It was like just round beams of wood.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really step on it properly. And you
Yeah.
had about half a meter of space, or maybe 10 centimeters. But you had to crouch down,
Yeah.
walk all the way down, maybe, I don't know how long. Seemed like forever. 100, 200 meters.
Holy moly.
And it was really hard. Then we were down there, and
How many
he-
steps is it actually? I don't even know.
Nader Sadek had to shoot a video down there.
Mm-hmm.
And
We had already been down there once doing the shoot, and this was some extra
Yeah.
stuff, I think, for that.
exactly some video
Or was it
for that.
something
But
else?
and the first time, I think you guys had very loud, heavy metal music playing inside the pyramid, and it scared the people.
Well, it wasn't playing. No, we were. Oh man, this is an epic story. What? I'm not. Yeah, you tell. Yeah, should I tell the first part
My
of it?
story is
Yeah, what's your story?
my story is only
wait a minute.
about that.
I gotta tell
I found it incredibly funny that there were some other tourists coming out there and down there, and they came into this secret mystical
Layer. That's
A
the
room,
the end
you
of
know.
it. Oh, he smashed.
to have their really deep esoteric,
Yeah.
I don't know, but like some experience of something untouched, or something
Yeah.
like, wow, we're
Wow.
inside a pyramid. And then there's just Nader Sadek standing with a microphone. A film camera, me and Michael looking at him, and that was part of their experience.
We've got
now
a whole
of that
light setup that we
pyramid.
brought with us, and we've
Like
set
guys. Like guys.
I found that kind of funny.
up. That was good.
Yeah, we destroyed their day, but
No, I don't think that
Or
we
maybe-
did. Not at all. I think
maybe-
my
maybe there was
experience of
something
that
extra
was that
there
they
for
were
them.
just like, yes, please. What's happening? Okay, never forget. Kind of experience. Not anything negative. I think.
Never.
And then I remember someone had tagged, a lot of people had tagged
Oh yeah, they
their
like the
name,
tag in there.
and inside the pyramid, one of them was like from 1823. And
Wow.
Just yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those all around that place.
Kev.
Yeah, Kevin, something like that. And then we had to go back up those stairs, and
It hurt.
it was all right. And we walked to the car, and I didn't feel much that day. But the next day, I could not lift my legs. I could hardly walk down the stairs.
I had the similar experience with the Great Pyramid, where I found the next day I'd used a part of my legs that I obviously just never used.
Exactly. Yeah.
In a way, and I just couldn't walk. I could barely walk.
Yeah, they really take it out of you, the pyramids.
Yeah.
I gotta tell that story about
Moonbow.
that fucking
Oh, this is the
thing.
image.
That's the actual image.
Oh, and this is
Oh, the moon.
in the dead of night.
And this is with an exposure, so I
Man,
left it for a few
it's so
seconds. That's why
cool.
it's so bright.
It's
Oh my
amazing.
god, we're back at the rainbow. There it is. Dead of night, rainbow.
It's got colour, eh? It's got a
It
nice
does
little
have colour.
shine.
Yeah.
Hey, is there a way you can make this picture available for the podcast watchers?
Probably.
It's so rare to find that. So
Yeah,
we
you should get this on.
yeah.
You should get your bloody.
Let's put a link up to
watermark
your Shutterstock. No, it's fuck Shutterstock, by the way.
on this.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean. I meant Salisbury pie is delicious.
Salisbury pie.
Think about something else.
Lovely.
Okay.
But you went down there with Nader Sadek when you were playing the actual music.
Yeah, and Emil, so we were helping him with this track. And then Nader was like, oh man, I wish I could to record the track in the Red Pyramid. The Red Pyramid is like also known as the Sound Pyramid because it's got different chambers that resonate in different things, different tunes, D and A. And then there's another one that you can't get into. Want to bet it's another tone. It's probably cool.
Yeah. The one high up one.
Yeah. And they... me and Emil were, Emil and I are both of the fresh mind. We just, yes, of course, whatever, let's get the shit together.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a Zoom, we got a computer, the computer screen is smashed, so we can just see one little corner of it. It's not a problem. I'm the engineer, Nada's there, we got the mics, got the same mics as here. We go down there, Nada, they kind of ask if he's got, I think that he paid... You have to pay quite a lot of money, like a couple of hundred crowns, to if you want to take pictures. It's a standard thing, like come and visit, but if you want to take pictures, you got to pay some more. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think he paid that fee, and then we got down there, and we just okay. And I got to tell you, it's dark. It smells like guano, like bat shit, and it's hot as
Really?
hell.
Yeah.
Really hot.
Yeah.
Immediate sauna vibes.
Wow.
So we set up all of the gear and we're just like, yeah, okay, we're rolling, we got the headphones and everything. And Emil is shooting it on the camera and he's getting some shots from upstairs. We got 2 cameras with us. And we start doing heavy metal vocals.
Yeah.
And your man from upstairs, the guard, he just yells down like, "Is everything okay, sir?" So, we kind of realized in that moment, like, okay, this must be super strange for this guy. How is he gonna deal with this? And we just yell like, "Don't worry about it." I don't know, like, yeah, everything's fine. What do you mean? Okay, keep going. Keeps going.
Yeah.
Guy comes down. Finally, old guy. He's gone all the way down the epic stairs, and he's like, "Okay, so I'm gonna go call the police right now."
Yeah.
And Nader was like, oh, okay, and turned around to us. He left and said, like, so the police are coming. He's yelling down the shaft, like, the police are on the way now. We keep going, and then he's like, okay, we should back it up. But me and Emil, our reaction was, if they're coming, no matter what, if they're already there, let's do the take. Let's just keep going. If this is just the finite way, if we're caught red-handed no matter what, let's get the take. And we did it, and of course then we came up, and your man there was no police around, and Nader had probably given him a healthy amount of money, and he was just like, oh yeah, we asked him where were the police. He said like, oh, they're far away, I think. I think that was his answer. It was good. Sweaty experience.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You got raided in the Lost Pyramid, but you didn't get properly raided.
Properly raided?
But the police
No
never
police?
came.
No, they never came. They weren't there.
Why is it hot down there? Seems
I
like it
don't
should be
know,
a
man.
cool place.
Oh, it's not cool. It's
Not
hot
cool.
as
Not
you
cool.
cannot believe it. Inside the Giza, all of the pyramids,
Yeah.
it's it's madness.
Yeah. It's mad.
It's
It's mad
yeah. Well,
crazy
there's
vibes.
not a lot of air coming down there, but of course there is because they've built these special air ducts and all that stuff. So, but so talking about subtle energies, that's kind of a place that I have some kind of version of in my head. That is some old timey peeps that were rocking it, meaning they were really having a good civilization running. Prosperity was good, everybody was healthy and eating, and they had the good gods and all that shit. And then they started messing about with the things that they could feel. They started to try and amplify things, kind of like maybe the forefathers of the ones that started to sort of like electricity, and that whole thing. Humans how did electricity become? How did they what's it called? Discover that through the endless search for something that you seem to be able to feel and touch and experience, right? And the static energy and the things, Yeah, I think that they were masters. They were trying to master and got pretty far with subtle energy conduction through material use.
They had lots of gold as well.
Yeah, they had a lot of gold.
Great conductor.
Great conductor. Yeah,
Absolutely, man. The gold, the granite, like the particular kinds of granite they used.
and the limestone on the top and things. There's all kinds of reasons, because the granite is hard and the limestone is softer, so it's easier to put on the top. But then there's also another way to read it, or other information, like that the granite is actually radioactive.
Granite
It
is
emits a
very
thing, so
hard.
it ionizes the air that it is encapsulated in, meaning that the air becomes slightly ionized. And then
Conductive.
limestone is the opposite. There's no current through it, so it's
Unless it's in the ground, because it's actually very conductive in the ground because water moves through it.
okay. Oh yeah, because the water can move through it. Yeah, so the limestone on that out there becomes an insulator for giant granite hallways. Yeah, it's good. It's conspiracy, but I'm down with
No,
it.
it's not conspiracy. It's what's
I
that
don't
know,
other
it's
word
just-
for that?
I mean, it doesn't really have a term, does it?
Hypothesis.
Hypothai.
It's good, and I like it. It's great fiction, but I don't know anything, and I think I don't know. It's like there is the official explanation of how everything was, but there's a lot of information saying no, it was different,
Yeah.
and it seems that field of Egyptology, especially in Egypt, with that one guy sort of sitting on everything and deciding what's what. It's I get more interested in the other theories because it seems very closed, and there's a long line of evidence, for instance, that the Sphinx is older than its official
It pisses them
number
off
of
to
years.
talk about
And
it.
yeah, so,
Could you open that window?
but I mean, and they
push
do
it.
kind of stick out in the landscape, don't they? They look like something that would conduct electricity or something crazy like
Isn't
that.
it annoying
it's
that-
such a weird, like,
It's a really good way of stacking. I'll say another thing. Best way to stack up a lot of rocks. That's another thing.
Very tidy,
Tidy,
tidy as hell,
easy to get to.
meticulous.
Yeah, if you've really got, and if you have this, I've got these giant 100 million, what are they?
We've
Thousands of
accidentally
tons.
hewed lots of blocks.
Yeah,
What are you going to do?
pile them up.
It's really annoying when you forget that there's one right in the middle that you needed first. And you're like, fuck.
Fuck, that's it. There's what was I about to say? I forgot now.
Subtle energy conduction and these seemingly like they had some pretty advanced arts of science and things like that kind of.
Well, if you look at the pyramid, Michael, you've been there, right? That it has no hieroglyphs inside. There's just no like
No,
Egyptian paintings and anything.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
not.
Oh
a
yeah,
burial
they did. You know
chamber.
that. What you know what the Egyptians love to do? The ancient Egyptians, they fucking love writing shit down, everything down. I like to eat this kind of liver. I put 2 spoons of salt inside it. That guy called Jeremy has moved into town.
He's not paying his
They
taxes.
like, yeah, exactly. Taxes, everything. Write that stuff down. How much does he owe me? How much do we have in the stores? What are our epic things? What's the name of the pharaoh? How great is he? What's his sister's name? And forever on. And then only one place are they like, we should call it it's called the pyramid texts that just explain the story of Imhotep going on a journey to and finding Elephantine Island and being sort of delivered to him the sketches of how to build a pyramid. That's the only, and they never wrote it anywhere else.
Never wrote it anywhere else.
Not a single. There is not a hieroglyph for pyramid. It doesn't exist. They don't. They don't mention it nowhere. Only one place that we found. There's the story of Imhotep. It's called the Pyramid Texts.
That's strange.
Yeah, it's
It
annoying,
would be
huh?
something that you'd mention if you went to Cairo, and then we went and saw the pyramids. Maybe not.
Yeah, man, what's going on? That's the most annoying. But I mean, I think that the argument usually towards that is just, yeah, shit, get lost in the sand, motherfucker. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? Well, storms happen, you know. The pyramid stayed. They had probably a big notice board that it said, these things, they go close to them, and they will conduct your energy and all that. And then, it got blown down one day, and they didn't really care about it.
And also, I've lived in Denmark my entire life. Not a lot of Danish people talk about the Little Mermaid.
No, sure. I guess. Yeah, we don't. I mean, they were just so normal that it just blew. They didn't care about writing that down. No, maybe there's a building somewhere under the sand where they've kept all the.
But like, yeah, like
there's not a single plan. That's also annoying. Where are all the really important plans that you have to make if you want to build one of those things, right? Your little sand got the whole paper thing down.
Yeah.
Done. Les donned. Not to be seen.
Not to be seen, is it? unless it's all stored in the right foot of the Sphinx.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, let it be true. I love it, man. What's his name? Scruggs? Buggy
Grant
Scruggs? No.
Schreiber.
Rob. Robert.
Shock.
Shock.
Robert Shock.
Robert Shock.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that. Columbia University. Good man. I've used up my 4 fucks of the episode. Now I said the 5th one, so there's no more fucks apparently.
What does he say? That it's all in the right foot of the Sphinx?
Oh, damn. He theorized it. Yeah,
Sphinx.
theorized it up in his head cogs. And he's also...
It's hollow.
Yeah, he says it's hollow. And then he's the one that got the grant together and got the permission. And he was like, could I just scan the things? Can I scan it? And they were like, nah, dude, nah, don't even look there. No. Finally he got through, and his theory was right, I think. In the right foot, it's hollow. And now is the eternal battle of saying, could you please
Let's have a look inside, please.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
But that, you know, I harshly, I will also say that it's kind of hard for a community, a country that in a lot of its, I mean, in the sort of more intense religious fractions that dominate some of the landscape there and become one of the poles, kind of wants that shit torn down.
Oh man, I just love digging like the magnitude of human history. Like it just gets me juices flowing, man. The amount of different versions of reality that humans have experienced already.
You were talking about one specific guy that now runs the whole Egyptology.
Yeah, what's his name?
Is it the bald guy with the hat?
Well,
He's
remember.
always on the TV programs.
Yeah, for
But-
sure.
Graham Hancock sure doesn't like him. But I don't think he likes Graham Hancock either.
Graham Hancock kind of, I kind of got a little pissed
Zahi
off
Hawass.
about him.
Mm-hmm.
We do like you though, Graham. Like, if
Exactly.
you do want to come on the podcast, that would be cute.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I used to live near him.
What's his name
That's
again?
cool.
The guy for the
Robert oh, that guy.
Zahi Hawass.
Oh, Hawass, mate.
He's the guy who, is the head of all of that in Egypt, apparently.
Yeah, and he's doing great strides. I mean, they're building up the new museum out there, which is fucking just massive thing, unbelievable, massive new museum out by. It really deserves it, I think. Egypt has, I think, a couple of hundred of pyramids and thousands of temples and constructions all the way down the Nile. And there's only two that really get visited, which is Valley of the Kings, which is epic, and the Giza pyramids. But just south, were we at the other pyramids as well? Did you come out with us there?
We were only at the red one.
But that's also where the Step Pyramid is, also the Pyramid of Djoser, which is the original first pyramid, the oldest in at least, I think Graham Hancock also agrees, I think so anyway, that's the oldest, and that's where the story of the pyramid comes from. So I don't know if you could, so Imhotep, the original architect, he was sent by Djoser down to there was a drought, and he was sent to go and find the god of the Nile, Zeb, I think his name's Zeb, and Imhotep went down, found him, asked him, would you mind turning on the water again? Perhaps we could build something that you like. And he was like, I got something now. And apparently Imhotep saw a pyramid on Elephantine, which, it seems like this story kind of has the same thing of the Bible, a couple of plot holes here and there.
Skip to the end.
He comes back and is like, done build this pyramid, Baba. Is that this? Ticka, 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 ticka. And then and there's a couple of theories out there about some insane waterworks. Of how they sort of move that around, that it's actually sort of a well. It's built on top of a giant well, as most pyramids are built on top of a water source. Also the Giza pyramids. Also why there are these theories about the subtle energies that the water is creating by moving underneath the tunnels of the pyramid up into the ionized chambers, and
which is how the Tesla machine works.
One of my favorite theories that I've heard about the pyramids is that, and it also goes for Stonehenge, I think, which apparently is a remote control to the pyramids, according to this theory. And so the way they were built was that each stone has a different amount of metals in it, and they use special stones where they could magnetize them. And they found out that they could actually make them gravitate with sound.
Gravitate?
Sorry, levitate.
Yeah.
Fly. So they would sing to make these rocks fly up. It somehow affected their magnetism, and that somehow affected their gravity, and they would fly into place. And the song that they were singing to make this happen was Greensleeves.
It's good. I like that.
Yeah,
and then
it makes total sense when you hear Greensleeves.
And Henry VIII, he just was like, he was down with such crazy witchcraft and looking into the black mirrors with his guy who was it, John Dee, he was like the black magic guy. And he saw this, and he heard the song Greensleeves, downloaded it. He was like a channel, downloaded Greensleeves and started playing it.
Who's this?
Henry VIII.
Oh yeah. Cool.
So it goes.
I do like those. I like that they're all aligned in different ways. I think that there's the Silbury Hill Giza Pyramid connection is that the axis of
connecting the energies.
The axis of the pyramid.
Yeah.
This axe, the line goes to Silbury Hill in England, which is a place that Henry and I visit as a homage every now and again.
Yeah.
which is it's a mound, but it's very big.
Yeah, and it used to be like a holy place.
It was made.
Yeah.
It was they estimate that it was made same time as that they estimate the pyramid was made, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's like it's 3,500 or something like that
Yeah.
that they're estimating. Yeah, and it's could be interesting if they were like in on that together.
We basically know so little about what happened just a few thousand years ago.
Yeah, it's so
And
annoying.
we have no idea, so we can only make theories.
Yeah. And what are the theories for?
I mean, we have archaeology, right, which can tell us some things.
Did they use a potato sack for carrying things?
But,
other than
they don't tell us everything. There's been humans on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years. And we basically, in archaeology, I think it's like they look back 25, 30,000, sometimes further, they find some stuff, but it's so little. Because everything has probably been smashed 100 times over.
Yeah.
And we're these little things on the surface that keep surviving. Because we're very tenacious.
And I think we also tend to underestimate the people in the history.
Mm-hmm.
We think that they were running with just spears and bows, but they were for such a long time around, and they didn't have internet. They had
Right.
all the time in their hands. Do what you want in the beginning. So they must have been when they had like no money and no kind of society like this, more of a hunters and gatherers. It's crazy, I think, what kind of a different way of living and different tools and different kind of creativity they had.
Imagine building the pyramid and it being the lasting thing. The thing that like rock and stone would be the thing that's permanent in a world where things get smashed down so frequently. Like to build something that lasts like this. That's
Yeah,
still here with us now that we can go inside.
I think they even calculate. There are the theories around the calculations of where the pyramids are standing, where there are sort of some wild notions saying it wouldn't be able to be anywhere else. There isn't another thing. It's on top of the tectonic plate that if it moves, then that moves all the way over here. Everything would have everywhere else that they had built that foundation that it's standing on, which is the real feat apparently.
The Giza Plateau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's rolling for that.
Every time you say Giza, I think, Henry, he was a geezer.
Giza, yeah.
Giza
No,
Plateau.
it's the plateau for geezers, mate. It's where you go to just stay on the geezer level, you know what I mean?
It's one of those. It's also one of the few towns that just didn't change since biblical times as well.
Yeah.
Cairo?
Well, Giza. Do you know because Cairo is only on the other side of the Nile?
Yeah, and then it's Giza on the western side, closer to the pyramids. But that's the part of Cairo, yeah.
Yeah.
Big part. Yeah.
Giza's giant. There are places just people living right next to the pyramids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's life.
It'd be nice to sit on that roof one day. There's a beautiful guest house out by the Abu Sir pyramids where me and the boys hung out for a day or two. Abu Sir is one of the, I'm not sure about the ages of them actually, but in that area there's also one of the biggest, or the biggest obelisk erected in pyramid.
You
Egypt.
once told me something.
Yes.
Might have been a lie, but you said something to the... What was it? You said that the guy who was like a famous guy who invented something, was a businessman, went to the top of the pyramids.
Yeah, Ericsson.
Siemens.
Is
Ericsson?
Siemens,
Okay.
of course. Sorry, not
Siemens,
Ericsson,
yeah.
Siemens, yeah. Siemens. Yeah, it's
Sony
kind
Ericsson.
of a
I
debate.
remember that lie as well.
Yeah, it's not a lie. It's a bit of a, but it is disputed because it's in a documentary called
Pyramid Code?
Pyramid Code. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find it in different places, but the most compelling thing about it is that it's written in his diary. And a diary is just a diary. He could fucking write whatever he fucking wanted, right?
Yeah,
Again and again.
that's a proper historical source. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And he wrote that he went up onto the pyramids and conducted a simple test, which was there's some kind of receptacle, water, or some kind of vinegar inside a metal rod, a piece of cloth, something that can test if an area or a thing is
Conducting electricity.
Then you can see it, I think. So he did that, and his account of it is that it shot a bolt, and the guys started freaking out, and then it shot another bolt. Maybe is it one bolt or is it two? But I know that it hit one of the guys and he got knocked out
From the pyramid.
he didn't fall down. He just got knocked out.
Okay.
This is before that. You see, the pyramids were quarried in the 1300s because of there was a big earthquake that smashed up Cairo, so they went out and started quarrying that shit up. It's not easy quarrying work, as far as I've understood, so they didn't manage to do too much of a dent, but they took a lot of the smaller pyramids. Only in later years has all of the limestone. Some of the limestone fell off in the earthquake as well, rubbled on down. But it's been quarried in later years. So it means Sony
Ericsson.
Siemens. He was there.
Glitchy moment.
He was there while it was still insulated. If you're talking about my Monroe Jumbo, about it was still a packed thing. We've seen that. There are many pictures of that time, Napoleon time, when he was there also. They were smooth. And when he went up there, the thing happened. They freaked out as hell. They got super angry with him, right? All kinds of accusations of witchcraft and pretty serious assault.
Right.
And things like that came upon him. And he had to get his way out of there.
Just made magic happen on the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Like, be upset.
Gold at the
Yeah, it had a gold
peak.
cap.
Sure. Gold caps.
And didn't they also make electric lamps? Little battery-driven lamps
battery.
that they found inside
Well,
The battery
No.
Was
wasn't
that another lie?
I'm not sure that
You're
the
talking
pyramid...
about the Baghdad
the
battery, I
Baghdad
think.
battery. Yeah.
Which is found in Baghdad, I
What?
think. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But
They
an
have them in
indicator
Egypt.
it's the same vessel as what I'm talking about. It's got vinegar inside it. It's a thing. It's got a thing, and it conducts it makes 0.84
amperes.
amperes. And one of the things that it can be used for is gold coining coins. So if you've got gold dust, you've got a piece of silver or whatever,
I know.
put it in water, put that thing in there, it connects to the thing. And you have found gold coins from that time. This explains that very beautifully.
Wow.
So that's at least
money laundering
an
scheme or something.
Yeah, at least an understanding that a subtle energy exists. We harvest this energy. I can totally understand that you'd be like, it works in small. What if we make it very, very big? Very, 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 very big.
But didn't
Yes. That's what I would say if I was Pharaoh, J.
we... Speaking of the top of the pyramid, the Pyramidion, didn't we see one of those in the museum in Cairo?
Oh man, the
'Cause
black one.
Oh, it's not made. Yeah, it was not made from gold.
You're right. That was
black.
made from. You
Like
know what they?
obsidian or
There's a.
something.
Yeah.
No, it's called. Come on, baby brain. Let's hit it. It's. I can't remember what it's called. It's a
Rock
black
stuff.
It's a stuff that is a lot harder than granite and a lot harder than copper.
Obsidian.
Obsidian?
Sounds like it.
But
Onyx?
that's only exists
It's
in
got
South
another
America,
name.
I believe.
Yeah, it's got another name.
Ah.
Obsidian blades. I think you're right. Anyway, it's not obsidian.
Indiana
it's
Jones
called
6. Yeah.
Chronic. It's got like anyway, it's got like a sort of archaeological kind of name. Geological. Sorry, yeah. I'll tell you another funny fact. Do you know about the Rashid Stone? Have you heard of the Rashid Stone?
You mean
What?
Rosetta?
Rosetta?
Oh, Rosetta Stone. Of course, that's what it's called.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's what things are called
I've
in
seen
Egypt
that.
back then. When they
Hey,
found
Rosetta.
it. It's always been called Rosetta.
Rosetta.
Yeah, Rosetta.
Yeah. So you know what the story is? It's always simple. Basically, your man Napoleon, he was down there, and some of his troops stumbled upon a piece of stone I think it was a part of a wall in a ruin, and he kind of just had a keen eye for that, and the little town called Rashid.
I'm not sure it was Napoleon who discovered it.
Oh, well, we probably better put a boogie dollar down then.
Well, probably some archaeologist. I don't know, but maybe it was Napoleon himself. But then
It
again-
was. Maybe you weren't listening.
Maybe sorry I didn't.
Maybe you stopped listening to what I was saying.
Sorry.
It was it was in the Napoleon era of him taking over Egypt, and there was a keen soldier who noticed that piece of wall looks a little interesting, and he got it set up, and it was in the little town outside of Cairo, northwest of Cairo, called Rashid, and they called it the Rashid Stone. And then at some point, that name just didn't really go down well with the old Frenchies and the way that they spoke and their whole language, and they had the whole sort of like probably propaganda campaign happening around the world domination campaign that Napoleon probably was on, which is about also changing language and saying this is what you should do, establishing universities, all of those things. He did a lot of interesting things in Egypt, like establishing in the universities and making all kinds of syndicates of intellectuals and artists and all kinds of things that sort of still have shaped Cairo and still shapes Cairo's identity as a town, at least. These big bridges and stuff that
With savants.
the savants, exactly,
Yep.
interesting stuff.
But then basically they could start reading the stuff because you have 3 languages there.
Yeah.
And they, but it's the same text, and
So
then you can read one of them, then you
Yeah.
can read the other one and figure out how that language works. But before that, they didn't have a clue.
Exactly, and it's written in ancient Greek,
Mm-hmm.
hieroglyphics, and the third one is called.
Coptic or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
what
it looks like Coptic. That's the thing. The
Phoenician,
Coptic. No, Coptic is the same as the ancient Greek. I think that's where that connection is. Then there's hieroglyphs, and the other one is common tongue writing in the same era as hieroglyphs. It's called
Dothraki.
Dothraki. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we can figure that out real quick if we just get,
Rashid up that stuff.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it's writing with
Rosetta. I saw it. It's in the British Museum.
Like all the best treasures in the world.
It'll come back, bro.
Hoarded in that big old museum.
Hieroglyphic, demotic,
Demotic.
Greek.
There we go.
Demo-
Demotic is common tongue of the ancient Egyptian era,
Okay.
which is So apparently, they had these 2 writing systems. Hieroglyphs usually used in praise situations, remembrance of things. It's an interesting thing.
It's like a holy language.
Yeah, but then it was like the priests and shit. I think the priests spoke Demotic, the common tongue.
Okay. So did the priests kind of
And
like
they probably
they
had some kind of
a little
inter-
bit like we don't
they
want to
pro-
be involved with that ancient religion. They were like the new
I
religion,
don't know.
being like
I don't know if we're just going
Testament.
after things there.
New Testament heaps. I mean, if we're going after things, that's what ancient Egypt makes you do. It's because of the beautiful mysteries that lie within it. It makes you go after things. It's good fun.
You know, they've got all the ancient school things as well that they wrote a bunch about, and that you found in certain places, but where they always kept them a secret.
The
They were
mystery
secret
schools.
The mystery
right?
schools, yeah.
And one of the most compelling sort of arguments for those existing, that is this. They had a system of governance which was passed down through this religious way, and they kind of became deities, right, and half gods and all of that. And sometimes it went really well. It was there was good times and bad times, and sometimes a benevolent leader and a good leader would really bring about an amazing wealth and good times.
Yeah.
But then when the leader changes, suddenly maybe he's like, I don't want these schools. you were friends with the other guy that I usurped. By the way, I'm chopping off all the faces of the guy, of all the statues of that guy, and you there that had that, you were in that school that he was educated in, are gonna kill you now. So it was like a way of just surviving the ages.
Yeah.
Is it true? There's a theory about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo da
Sandwich.
Vinci.
Leonardo Delirio.
Leonardo Delirio Vinci was at the mystery schools. Is that what you call them? Mystery schools.
Well, he's a bit late for that, I guess. But yeah, I think there's a TV show where he does something like that. But but yeah, some of the Greek philosophers went to Egypt to do the rituals and the whole thing, and also, I guess, take a lot of knowledge back to Greece.
And name their ancient language. I mean, demotic, that's a Greek word, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. It was made in Greece, this thing, right?
The Rosetta Stone?
Yeah.
No idea. But it was found in Egypt anyway.
So it's fascinating, the whole the language thing, and the feeling that you get, that's like everything was a bit more porous back then, that like different religions and different cultures kind of just amazed at each other and a bit like, oh, let's just swap some things out. As much as they were like having wars and stuff, they were also like, oh, let's swap things and let me do your ritual, you can come and do our ritual, kind of thing, like that, like kind of that sort of thing, feeling that there was a bit more of a porous nature about cultures and borders and things like that.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I get.
How much of a feeling of pride do you think the guy that built the guest house right next to the pyramid, what does he think about the building that he just erected next to the pyramids? This beautiful guest house, but next to the pyramids.
Yeah, he's probably just trying to soak up a bit of the old cash and just counting how much cash it is and saying that's how proud he is. If he's got that guest house going, oh man, it's just such a crazy mystery, and it's wild being out there because they don't fit in.
They are baffling. Even when you drive out there, I remember being in the cab and just for the first time being able to see them close up.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Like this, my whole body just went like, what is that? That is unnaturally big.
So
and
big.
It's like
So massive.
just on a very basic physical level. It's like looking at a mountain, but you could tell that it's man-made because it's just too damn straight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Exactly.
I would have loved to have seen them be made again and I have this dream to start a crowdfunding campaign that is just like build it again.
rebuild the pyramids.
Yeah, I'll just build another one.
Make the pyramids great again.
Just do the same. Build a copy of the Great Pyramid of Giza with all of the things that it needs. Water underneath, things of the things. All the same stuff. Put the smooth sides on again.
Smooth.
I just want to look at it.
Yeah.
But it's apparently, even with modern machinery and so on, a completely crazy task to do that.
Yeah, because you have to, for example, build machines. We don't need
Be able to
that
do
big
that.
slabs of rock at any moment.
No.
It's stupid. So we'd have to build a machine that can, but crowdfunding can go long.
We can
Keep
do
it going
that.
for a couple of years until we got a good, $1 billion?
I think they tried
1
to
billion?
move
And
some temples back in the 70s in Luxor, and it was just, they never finished it. It was too hard,
Too stupid,
too
yeah.
stupid, and too much energy.
They just
The machines were
ruined-
too
ruined
weak,
them.
and like
We're into.
I don't know, yeah, but
There's a place where there's called the Serapeum down there in Egypt. It was an underground place with these giant chests everywhere.
Angel place?
No.
No, Place of the Dead. And it has these giant sarcophagus in it, giant giant size. At one point, some king, I can't remember his name, wanted to be buried in one of them. So he's like, could you get out one of those sarcophagi, please, from the tunnels? And they pulled it all the way up until they just came to a corner and realized we cannot end this corner. You know, it was a stupid move, really. It took a lot of energy for them to it's just so extremely heavy thing. They could not get it out. It was back in the 70s as well. Just couldn't get that. And it's just there to this day in the middle of the hall. Everybody who's ever tried to build anything there has said, if you build around that thing, moving it is impossible.
Yeah, the Serapeum is just a real noodle scratcher.
Yeah, those giant sarcophagus. Yeah, I've had the great experience of having there's this guide who's just like they hang around at the place. You pay him some cash, and he lets you go in there. Or he comes with you or whatever. But he's a real sly dog, and he says like, "You want to jump in the sarcophagus?" I'm like, "Yeah, you'd better stand 100%." You know, he let me get in there. I hung around in there a bit, and then getting out, it's so tall, it's massive. That it's like you got to hooch it a bit, especially if you're a bit of a large lad. And he sat on the top, and I was just first try I couldn't try it, and he gave me his hand, and then he pulled it away, and he was like, "Give me a tip, mate."
Bastard.
Yeah, just they wouldn't let me out unless I gave him a tip, which of course only invigorated my can-do power completely, and made me shun him and give him sly remarks like, "Oh yeah, you want me to go down there? You're a piece of shit," and then walk away. "What did you say?" Nothing. Yeah, he was a dick. Gave him a lot of money though. At the end, because if he let me go in the sarcophagus, it's fine.
I've been to some of the pyramids in Mexico as well, which is also kind of crazy that there's also pyramids over there when they're supposed to not have been contact. Anyway, since I was a kid, I was like, "How is that? That's weird."
Yeah, good way of stabling up.
Anyway, yeah, but it was like, no contact at all. It's just coincidence that they build the exact same structure. Okay, yeah. But we went to a pyramid, Matthias and me, at one point, where we found out that it was basically made like some sort of weird instrument. It was 3 pyramids standing close to each other, and then there was a big pole in the middle of this sort of courtyard in between them. And one was called the Pyramid of some monkey, and the other one was called the Pyramid of some bird, Quetzal bird, and I think the third one was a jaguar, something. I don't remember.
I think you're right.
So the guide showed us, like, how does this work? And the pyramids up there don't have a pyramidion. They have a box sort of made of stone with stone pillars inside it of different heights.
Okay.
So, and then there's a long staircase down towards that pole where you stand. So he showed us, this is how this thing works with the pyramids over here. And he clapped with his back to the pole at the first pyramid, and the sound traveled up and it came back, and it was the sound of the bird that came back. With the monkey pyramid, it was the sound of the monkey, and the same thing with the third one. So basically they had built this huge instrument that could reproduce the sounds of the animals that they heard in the jungle.
Yeah.
Amazeballs.
Because when we do things, when human beings do things for reasons of sort of faith or divinity or some kind of higher spirit or something that they believe in that way, we do the craziest feats. Just like, all the cathedrals and the Vatican and, in what's it called?
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, we build the biggest things when we get down with that. I can really understand getting down with just being like, jaguar, bird, monkey. I've got a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah, man.
Things are good. It's about things are good. Are things good? Is everybody fed? Are we totally in contact with reaping the benefits of the land in a easy? We've got it all figured out. We've got all of our love intrigues, all of our weird human things, but we are good.
But in a weird...
We're not in the rat race.
People at our fingertips.
Yeah. Not in the rat race of modern day capitalism or whatever.
Certainly not.
Kind of makes you be a bit more, maybe, should we build a thing that does that? I've got this idea.
Yeah,
But then-
we can get into that now.
Then that pyramid over there is kind of a recording device or a little sound bite of that sound that you then made,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
And it's like you have it forever. You can
Passes
just go
on.
and clap there, and then you remember what it sounds like and what to call the pyramid.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's kind of like those little things in the vinyl record.
mm-hmm.
Like that's also architecture. If you look at it really close,
Sure.
you can explain this better than me, like how it works, which is still a mystery to me. But like
Yeah, it's magic.
you have the wax album with the needle that receives the sound, then makes these tiny scratches in the wax. Then you make the vinyl from that, and you put a needle on it, and the same sound that was played to that wax comes out of that vinyl. What? How does that work? And you look in a microscope, and it's these tiny, tiny architecture on the inside of this tunnel, like, and but it's bassoons, it's voice, it's a car crash, whatever it is, it just reproduces that sound in the actual architecture of it.
It's mind-boggling.
Miracle.
I don't.
What
If
about
I can't even
magnetic
understand
tape?
a
Excuse me.
record,
I
like
think
how can I understand modern technology?
Well, I think it's easier to understand the record than it is to understand the tape. If you accept audio waves, sound waves, as a physical thing, and you sort of realize that, then the natural thing is that when I talk that way, it hits that and it reacts to it in whatever way, and if you concentrate that power enough, it will become more and more precise. What about magnetic tape?
Yeah, that's also
That
witchcraft.
is because
Back
that's
to the little current, possibly.
yeah, because
Differences in the current and the thing, or what?
it's extremely complicated with little subtle energy. That is the energy, because sound is electricity. That's why people that get their like hearing, they'll have a microchip in their brain, magnets put in their ears, because magnets also attract all the sound, because it's an energy, just simple. In fact, it's a pressure, right? And then what happens is that pressure, we've managed to put it through the cables and into an amplifier that amplifies that signal and puts it into a piece of magnetic tape. And then that understands oboe and drums.
I can try explaining a little bit magnetic tape.
Okay,
Give it to me!
Jacob Beans.
So imagine a
Hot
magnetic
facts.
tape, let's say you have 10 centimeters of magnetic tape, and if you really, really close zoom to it, you would see like a little round things, like little rods, sticks that have polarity up and down, kinda. And depending of how you move magnetic field on it, you can direct those sticks. So imagine that you have that 10 centimeters tape, and you have rows of rods that can spin 360. And you can actually record how, depending of how the wave is standing, it can represent the magnetic wave of the actual magnetic wave, because that's all of the stick is magnetic stick.
Sure.
So you can see the curvature of the sound wave, and it can read the average and play the sound how it was represented on magnetic tape. I think that's the easy, I guess, explanation.
Yeah, but it's just it's still so the thing about cutting it into the vinyl, right? It's because you concentrate it all into a needle, and then all of it is in there, and it just shakes exactly that sound that's coming out, and at least I kind of understand that. And if you turn that process around, then if you can put a needle in there, you can get the other way around, right?
I understand it too, but it's still magical to me.
It's still magical, but I feel like the magnetic
Completely.
tape is even more foreign, obscure, and weird.
All right. Yeah.
What were you thinking about the moon?
Well, it was just, we talked about it earlier, and when you live on the countryside, I don't know, it's the only thing going on. And then there's the moon. Okay, that's cool. I mean, we have Wi-Fi as well, but I for some reason I notice it more. But then I also noticed Venus and the planets because they're the first things you can see in the sky after the sun has gone down, because they're still being illuminated by the sun,
Yeah.
and
Venus
there's not
is
enough
so
darkness for this starlight to come through. So you can actually pick out the planets, and Venus has just been very bright, and it's this sort of, I love that I'm able to see a planet from another planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I've noticed it as well. They call it the morning star. It's the morning star, right? Because
Yeah.
it's the one that's like left over there. You can see it at night, right to the morning.
I only
Right.
recently found out that Venus has also phases, like a moon.
Mm.
If you look at it really close,
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
because it's much closer to the sun. So this just so we see how the sun is making the side of it to shine. So you can see the dark side because we're much further. So we can see the action of it being shine and turning around it. So from this perspective, we see it filling it up and going it like on a young moon phase.
Interesting.
Does it make any sense?
Mm.
It does.
It's sort of,
Astronomical.
you look at it, and it's what, millions of kilometers away. It's crazy.
Do you know how much light time it takes for it?
No, but slightly less than the sun, which is what,
I think the sun is 8 minutes.
7-8 minutes or something. Yeah?
So we can figure out how many kilometers it is.
Sorry, what's the question?
How many kilometers away is it?
What is it?
Venus?
Yeah, well,
300,000 kilometers an hour.
It's much closer to the sun, right? So
light is 295,000 kilometers a second.
Second.
45 million kilometers. Venus is away from the Earth.
It's good. It's long. I love that we need kilometers. Because that's how long it is over to the grandma's house.
How many
I mean,
miles?
I can figure it out. 40 kilometers to grandma's house. 44 million. That,
to the sun. Yeah.
that's a lot. That's a lot of grandmas. We need light years to explain those things. Light years. Yeah, light years.
I remember reading a graphic novel once, and this guy is at a party at a weird place. It's sort of in a dream, and someone comes up to him, and he's like, "Wow, you seem weirdly familiar. Like, who are you?" "Well, you've known me all your life," the person says, and he's like, "But like, I know you so well. You're like so close to me. Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Helios, the sun." And the sun has dressed up for this costume party or whatever. But it's like a character you don't expect to meet, but someone you know very, very well, like who is actually like the foundation of your whole life. But yeah,
Who's this comic book author?
that was Neil Gaiman, The
Neil
Sandman, one of them.
Uh-huh.
Lovely, lovely,
Yeah, he's great.
lovely stories.
Tell me more about that.
Well, people used to have a different relationship to the planets. Like back in astro-theological religions, they would be the main thing. They would be the gods in the sky, and have all these energies that would influence you here on Earth. And that's astrology, basically. And yeah, I've never believed in astrology, and I'm very critical of all sorts of stuff, but I do enjoy looking just at the planets and not necessarily understanding everything about them and how it works, but just like there's a presence of something so enormous right next to me. And just looks tiny.
Astrology seems to be another one in the scope of claiming subtle energy abilities.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with subtle energy is it's like it's open to a lot of different things, right? It's open to a lot of different interpretations of it, and if we believe that we have an effect from what our planet is doing in terms of the energy, then what about the energy from other things around us, and what is the distance between us and those things? If light hits us, then we're in communication, like there is an exchange going on, in
Yeah.
some way. And but like I mean, I think it makes sense to me that all of those things on a level that isn't necessarily comprehensible.
I think it
doesn't
has
make
to be
sense that it shouldn't have an influence, right?
Mm,
That doesn't make any logical sense at all. It might
that's
be
right.
small influence, and it might not be the gravity, but it might.
But as small as we look at the moon cycles for the seeds, you know, something like that, it's like there are things there maybe that are the fundamentals of our existence going on. Yeah,
just
play
out of
with.
sight.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it is. For me, it can be a tool sometimes, because when we put ourselves in it's kind of an introspective space. When you look at astrological, at your what's it called, your sign and your different things. So, and that need, it's because you're trying to figure something out. Otherwise, you wouldn't do that action. I think that I have this app called The Pattern, right? It's filled with every day. It tells you these things. You've got it to you. You told me about it. Tells you all your new signs, and you put in all your data, right? And it's very good and very poetic as well. And it explains things that I read, but I don't read. I kind of feel like I play a game that says, because when I feel a bit I need a bit of advice, kind of. I need a bit of. I'm a bit.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna just grab that thing and quickly read that thing, and I'm gonna look away from all logic and sense, or sort of one side of my logic and sense, and say, inspire me to look introspectively by claiming that you know.
So it's a bit more like divination in a way.
Yeah.
That you could also use coffee beans or whatever to actually protect your subconscious and see what's inside you through those tarot or whatever.
Yeah, because I definitely trust the
could work
science
that
that
way,
I know that
definitely.
has been made. That is when they're just trying to conduct as many people as possible to read their astrological charts or whatever, and people saying that they are this or this is for them, and everybody getting all kinds of different information. Some are Pisces, some are Libras or whatever, and everybody saying, yeah, I totally read into that, right? I can see so I do that. I think that everybody just does that. I don't know if it has any authority unless we give it authority, and we kind of use it in a positive way. And I also like to put myself into. I think people like to be connected with the stars. I like to they like to put themselves as important.
Yeah.
And this helps.
This is a wonderful old religion, you know, of like communicating with the
Indian
cosmos.
religion, basically, isn't it? Kind of.
And then our scientific worldview, our scientific culture is basically the only one saying that we're disconnected from it and that it doesn't have any influence. And it's just dead rocks floating around. Everybody else had some sort of like symbolic meaning attached to it, or even them being gods like Venus and Saturn and Jupiter and so on.
You have to personify shit to be able to understand it. That's the whole one of the annoying issues, basically. We used to just be like, the sun is God. Then we had to spread that religion. It's easier that it's a person, or a thing that we can relate to somehow, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just our existential angst that wants us to, searches for meaning everywhere. And this thing, astrology, beyond anything else, it brings meaning to the world, I think. It gives a sense of serenity, a sense of patterns. Oh, sorry, you Kubis?
I think it's very personal meaning, right? Because have you heard of this psychology test that's been done in the United States for students, where they've been given their horoscope, whatever they are, in front of them.
Horoscope, that's the fucking name of it.
Yeah, and they read it.
Helping me.
And then by the end he asked like, oh, how many of you this horoscope reflected your day and whatever, and like this half people lift hands and this half whatever, and then by the end it just tells that the horoscope was actually the same for each of them. It was the same one, so each of them like took out of it whatever they wanted, because they are written in a way that you can actually interpretate them.
Yeah, it's poetry and art, kind of like the tarot cards,
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was just trying to say. Yeah, I was trying to refer to that science just before.
the divination aspect to it. Yeah, definitely.
When we search for answers, we find them. You know, like we find ways of explaining it in everything.
Of
If
course.
we want to explain something,
It's kind of a rabbit
chaotic,
hole as well. You know, it can also there's kind of like 2 steps away from insanity.
But yeah, and that's what you see, I think, a lot in this kind of in the conspiracy theory world, is that joining together of the dots and the kind of like wanting to see something, and it's also why like so many people are subjected or very affected by propaganda, Facebook, whatever, you know, like fake news stuff. Like people really they connect with that because that's what they want to see.
Yeah.
And they know it's what they want to see.
Gives them meaning.
Yeah.
And it's not incomprehensible like all the politics on TV and so on. Yeah.
It's also the news now kind of taken.
So I think,
Every bit of information on internet is taken as of some sort of news. There's no filter.
Mhm.
Like back in the day when there were news was only on TV, so that was highly filtered what's come out and how it comes out, what to tell to people. And now you go on Facebook and you see the same picture in 3 different stories, which is just interpreted wherever you want. It's crazy. There's no absolute some sort of filtering going on. You can take whatever you want in you.
Yeah. Well, I hope that we still got some pillars of journalistic integrity out there.
Well, it's all done for the clicks. The clicks.
Yeah. Yes. All right, on that note, I'm going to wrap up the podcast for today. Richmondsauce.
Richmond.
Would you like to say something to...
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy being here, and I'm looking forward to building my guest house.
It's going to be good. Pyramid Guest
We're
House.
looking forward to staying there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Thomas, for coming in.
Thank you. It was nice having a break from having my hands in the dirt and my eyes fixed on the stars.
Yeah.